Yep, we are definitely going.
Cool.
Yep, we're recording. That is, yep. This is what's happening. It's doing to happen.
Yeah, we have commenced a thing.
Yeah. It's the podcast. It's
That's
that time of the week again.
That's the most dribble introduction I think we've done so far. It's like, yes, we've started.
Yes, we've started now. Brace yourselves.
Yeah, it's a Friday night. It's a Friday night. We're a bit more chilled out tonight. I say now, I've got quite a bit. I'm quite excited about stuff.
I'm quite excited as well. Let's get this thing off to a proper start. So hang on. Yeah. Welcome, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages and genders, to Wargamers Anonymous with myself, Josh, and my esteemed co-host, Elston.
Hello.
Welcome, Elston. You all right?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, for listening to the podcast. If you enjoy what you hear, for whatever reason, make sure to leave us a like, leave us a review, subscribe on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all the podcast places, or on YouTube if you prefer to look at a still image of our logo while we talk.
And if you don't enjoy it, also comment as well, because it helps the algorithm for us as well. So even if you don't like us, do something. In fact, I'm antagonizing you right now. Do something. If you
just
don't
do something
like
real life.
Us, do something. You absolute waste of space.
Whoa. Right, let's dial it back. I know we're excited. I know we're all giddy. And I'm sat here sipping it off Renata orange juice. It's getting crazy in here tonight, guys.
Yeah, orange juice. And
I'm drinking cordial.
I finished a cup of tea.
Living the dream. Anyway, so today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the new Star Wars Shatterpoint reveals that have come out. I think today. I think they've all come out. So we're going to we thought we'd take advantage of the fact that we're recording tonight. It's all still fresh. We're all still excited. We've got a few thoughts on those, and then we'll see where the recording takes us.
We might talk about our own projects. In fact, we'll probably do that before we talk about Shatterpoint stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
We usually start off that way. We usually start off just sort of catching up with what we've both been up to, or catching up with what Elson's been up to and what I've not done.
You've done stuff.
I've done a little bit.
Completed.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we'll start off with that then.
Let's start with you.
Actually, we'll start off with that because it'll sound less impressive if I say after you speak. So I think since the last podcast, I have now finished my entire Star Wars Shatterpoint core box. I was sort of working my way through it slowly, but then I started working on some of the expansion stuff because I was getting ready for a game that didn't happen.
That's a story for another day.
Still hasn't happened. So I was sort of working on a team that I wanted to run. And then once I'd got those done, I went back and I finished the core box. So the last model that I painted was Ahsoka. I did put a little short on YouTube and Instagram of me painting Ahsoka just because I put it off until the end, partly because I was a little bit nervous about painting the orange skin, because obviously it's not just your regular Caucasian skin, and partly because I thought it might be cool to tie it in with the release of the Ahsoka TV series, which I'm also really enjoying.
Are you up to date with that?
I am up to date. Yes.
Last episode was good, right?
Yeah.
Right.
As a Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Clone Wars fan. That last episode was really cool.
Even if you're into the prequels, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
That was because what was interesting is tying in live action with animated Clone Wars. That was really interesting. For me personally.
It was really cool. That's the first time. I mean, I can't really talk about anything because it is spoilers for people that haven't seen it. I don't want to do that. But yeah, it was really cool, and also just really cool seeing obviously live action Anakin wearing Clone Wars costumes. Yeah, that's not a spoiler because he was in the end of the last episode. So there you go.
I want to say stuff, but no.
Yeah, we should skip past this because otherwise
last episode really good. But anyway, yeah. So you painted up Ahsoka.
So yeah, I finished painting Ahsoka. I painted Bo-Katan as well. I can't remember if I'd painted Bo-Katan on the last episode, but I pretty much painted those like within a couple of days of each other. Mm-hmm. Had a lot of fun with those. Really enjoyed them. So that's the entire core box done. All the terrain, all 16 miniatures. Nice. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but obviously they're all individual. And honestly, like it is a bit of an achievement for me. It's the first time I've finished an entire box in a long time. I think the last time I finished an entire painting project was
Marvel Crisis Protocol, wasn't it?
No, because I never finished all the terrain for that. Like I didn't finish painting the bins and the lampposts and stuff.
Okay, yeah, fair.
I weren't even Indomitus because I didn't finish my Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what the last full box that I finished.
Have you ever? Is this a first?
No, I have before.
What? I'm curious now.
It might have been Assault on Blackreach.
Really? Wow.
I definitely fully painted the entirety of Blackreach. I painted the Marine half first.
Was that 5th edition? Was that 5th edition? Or
no, it was like it was before 5th edition, weren't it?
Is it 4th edition?
I think so.
Oh, what? And we're at 10th edition.
Was Assault on Blackreach 4th edition? I'm sure it was 4th edition.
It sounds about right, isn't it? Because it was like Dark Vengeance, I think, was like 6th edition or something like that.
Yeah, Dark Angels was 6th, I think.
6th.
Oh no, you're right. Sorry, Assault on Blackreach was 5th edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, still 5 editions ago. That's the last one I can think of. I mean, there's been other boxes that I've come close to doing.
Sure.
Like, technically, like the Warcry box that I did, because I sprayed all the terrain, but I didn't I've not finished painting that. But like it has all got paint on it, and it could be classed as finished.
Let's discern it as you're proud of Shatterpoint, whereas the other one is finished.
Yeah,
it's just like Shatterpoint's done nicely.
So yeah, that's been cool. And then I'll be honest, I've not really worked on anything else. I've got a few bits that I'm sort of in the process of working on that I can't talk about. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to doing some more Shatterpoint stuff. Like I'm enjoying what I'm working on and what I've got like coming up in the sort of immediate future. But I'm just looking forward to getting back to some Shatterpoint stuff. But honestly, since being back at work, which had I gone back to work the last time we recorded?
I don't think so. I think you were about to.
Yeah. So I've been back at work now for 2 weeks, and it has drained me. For those of you that go on,
you're also exercising more.
Yes. So this is the thing. My lifestyle has changed quite a lot in the last sort of 2-3 weeks. Well, over the summer I started, but over the last couple of weeks I've gone back to work and trying to fit it all in. I'm admin staff at a secondary school. This year I've also taken on a form group, which is a hell of a lot of fun, and I've also taken on doing some teaching IT, which is awesome. I run one after school club that is my own. I run a D&D after school club, which I started this week. I help with the drama club on after school as well. And then and then outside of that, I'm still doing all my admin stuff, and I'm then doing teaching on top of it. And then outside of that, I've obviously continued my rock climbing, and I've started playing football after schools with some of the teachers.
Josh is sports now.
I'm not
all the sports.
I'm just trying to lose weight so that I can climb more better.
Soon he'll be in the showers with the other guys slapping their asses, giving each other a good hand.
I mean, I don't know what you think happens.
I don't know what happens in sports.
I don't. I had some of them today because I was sort of while we were getting warmed up, I was studying goal, and they were like taking like shots, and they were like, "Oh, are you a goalie?" I was like, I don't know. I'm just happy to have been picked for team.
Just happy I'm here.
I'm just happy to be included. I'll go wherever you need me to be.
There's a nerd, like a repressed nerd. I'm just happy to be picked.
That's it, yeah. I'll be honest, I'm not used to being on the pitch. It's definitely taken some adjusting, and I definitely need to work on it more. And I think in the next few weeks I'll get better at it. But I have been getting in. Like Wednesday, I went climbing. Not Wednesday, sorry. Last night I went climbing after work. And by the time Alfie had gone to bed and I'd had my tea and stuff, I was just like, do you know what? I'm done. Like, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate going to bed early because it feels like a waste of an evening. Like if I'm not watching something or playing something or painting something, but I was just tired. And I get to this point where I'm like, I know I'm tired and I know I can't do anything, but I fight it. So what I do is I just sort of vaguely wander around for like half an hour. with Wendy just going, you're tired, go to bed. And I'm like, no, it's too early. And I'll just wander around a bit more and just keep sitting in different seats. Like I'll go and sit in front of my Xbox and then go, I'm too tired to play Xbox. And I'll go sit at my desk and go, I'm too tired to paint. Just wander around.
Yeah, see, now I got past that notion a long time ago. And I look at, like, Megan does it from time to time, where it got to like 9 o'clock at night. She had a like exhausting day. And she was just like dead on her feet. And I was like, just go to bed. She's like, yeah, but no, it's too early. I was like, why is it too early? Like, what's the logic of this?
So in my head, and I'm sure that a lot of other people get this, is basically you get up. I mean, you don't because you get up and do stuff before you go to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I get up, I get ready, and to be fair, I have been getting up a lot earlier than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not been sitting down and doing any painting, but I'm mainly getting up and sort of getting work stuff sort of prepped before I go, or maybe I'll catch up on a video. Like this week, I got up and watched Ahsoka because I'd not managed to watch it on the Wednesday.
Sure.
Yesterday morning, I got up and watched Ahsoka. So I've been getting up early, but most people, they get up, they get ready for work, they go to work, they then come home, and then if you then go to bed early, all you've done that day is gone to work, come home, and you've not done anything. And that's how I feel. I feel like if I don't do stuff with my evenings, it is just a waste.
Yeah, I get that.
But I think I also, it's not like I do that every night, but I think I definitely need to let myself rest when I am tired.
Yeah, exactly that. So.
Anyway, we've started on fitness talk again.
Yay!
Same as last week's episode. Yeah, welcome to Fitness Anonymous. So long story short, I've not really worked on anything. I finished off the last couple of.
You finished Shatterpoint?
Yeah, I finished off those. But you say I finished off like I've done the entire. It was 2 models I'd got left to paint. So I finished those last 2 models.
You are starting to sound like Miniac now. Like, I done loads. I did 2 models. I'm like.
I mean, I have feelings. Sometimes your words hurt, Elston.
I'm sorry. You're special. It's fine.
But so now that we've spoken about my 2 entire models, I mean me finishing an entire core box.
Finished, that's what we're gonna say.
Let's go over to Elston. I'm just gonna mute you, I think, while you talk about what you've been working on. Elston, what have you done?
I finished a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, I've seen you fiddling with that. For those of you that can't see, which is everyone, because we don't do a video version of this, Elston's been playing with the Rubik's Cube, and I don't know if he actually did the solve, because when I saw it, when he picked it up, it was solved, and now it's solved again.
No, like a guy at work had this. And it was slow.
And you stole it.
And he was looking at it, and like you could just see the like frustration and anger building. And like, it's like a monkey trying to get bugs out of a hole with a stick that is just too wide for the hole. And he just keeps on persisting and trying to jab the stick into the hole. Even though it's never gonna work. Mental image for everyone there. It's just never gonna work. Anyway, so I was like looking at it, I was like, yeah, dude, like you can get an answer for everything these days. So I went, okay, give it a. So then I had a look on YouTube. How do you solve Rubik's cubes? And I learned all the algorithms of how to fix a Rubik's cube. Mm-hmm. And then for the next 2 hours at work, I was like, and I was like,
it's one of those things that I've always meant to sort of sit down. You know, when you just have these things where you're like, I really want to learn how to do that. I'll put it on the back burner. Mm-hmm. But I've never done it. I don't know if Wendy can still. I know she. I think she used to be able to do Rubik's cubes. I'm presuming she still can. Alfie got really obsessed with Rubik's cubes for a while, but had no interest in actually learning how to do a Rubik's cube. So just sort of looked at him vaguely. Alfie likes all the. He's got one. I don't think it's Rubik's one. He's got one it's got like things on the side that twist and things like.
Oh, the twist and bobble.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's something. It's pretty cool, to be fair. Because like Alfie got it for Christmas, and then after he'd gone to bed, like around Christmas, me and Wendy were just sat up playing, like doing the speed challenge on it. And then he got up next morning, and they were like, "Who set this like time that were like half the time of his?" And we were like, "Hehehe."
You evil parents.
Anyway, right, not a Rubik's cube. What have you finished?
What have I finished?
What haven't you finished?
So what I've been working on. So I got a new delivery today from Lion Towers Miniatures. Lion Towers or Lions?
It's Tower? Lions Tower, isn't it?
Lions Tower Miniatures. He sent me out some new stuff, and they got a Kickstarter coming up. So I'm putting that in the podcast as well, because Dan, you can thank me, even though I got on his Twitch streams. He's got a command: if you hit ! Save it, it goes, and I try and just catch him out when he's in the zone, just to spook him.
Dan can thank us by coming on the podcast at some point as a guest.
Yeah.
Because I love Dan's sculpts. Absolutely beautiful.
Right. Speaking of that as well, I have done. There's like 2 flaming knight things. They got like flaming heads. One's on a flaming horse. One's on foot. So I painted those up. I was just kind of like having a moment where I was just like, I need to paint something different. So I painted those 2 models up, and they were a lot of fun. And I've started work again on the Ifrit model, which is the big fire demon. That's coming together quite nicely. I'm hoping if I can commit a day or so to it, I should have that done. And I'm rather proud of that one. I'm also, I want to say like 2/3 of the way through the Spider Fang army.
Nice. Is that the one you're doing with the 2 thin coats?
Yeah, you'll love it. It's so bright.
I saw the picture you put on the other day, and it looked super bright.
The whole thing is just a absolute cavalcade of colors. It's just wow. I'm trying to like tie it in together because they are just loads of random colors at the moment, so I'm trying to like find ways to tie it in. But sorry to everyone, it's not just spider fangs. Basically goblins riding spiders, and I'm doing a whole army of them using the 2 thin coats range, because Pete, who we mentioned in the last podcast, sent me what I was very happy about, because obviously the 2 thin coats guys sent out kits or like paint sets to everyone, and they were like, oh, he's wave 2 or he's wave 1. Pete was really cool. He's like, pick 60. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, pick 60. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I got to pick mine, and he sent me those. So I've got a mix of wave 1, wave 2, with basically the ones I wanted. So
nice.
Thank you, Pete. Again, Pete is another person I want to get on the podcast as well. I am hoping maybe next episode, depending on availability. Maybe.
Cool. Maybe. Yeah, we need to get him on.
Yeah. So yeah, working on that. I've got an idea for, the big Arachnarok spiders, like they're big. I'm going to try and make one into a tarantula. Nice. And not just with painting. I'm going to static grass.
Yes.
The thing, make it
and
furry,
then paint it.
Then paint it.
Yes.
That's my idea. I have no idea if it's going to work. I'm going to plaster this model in glue.
Make sure you seal it once it's static grass, plenty to make sure that it stays.
Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise, as soon as you touch that with a paintbrush, it's just going to come off.
Yeah, I think I'm going to hit it with an airbrush.
That'd be easy.
Yeah, just because I have no idea how I'll paint all those fine. Anyway, so that's the plan. There's going to be a video on that when I get around to it, and a video on the whole army at some point as well. And I also finished Shatterpoint.
I'm going to say, I wonder when you were going to get to that. Yeah. Elston finished painting the entirety of like everything that's been released for Shatterpoint.
Barring one of the terrain kits, because I don't have it.
All right, okay.
I don't have. I've got the high ground one. I don't.
It's the take cover.
One. Yeah, I was like, it's got some rocks in it, which are kind of cool. But other than that, I'm not really sold on it. But I wasn't really sold on Vader and Obi-Wan. But then I bought that, and I was like, well, that's the most expensive set ever for 2 models. It's just brutal.
Yeah, but you get a little diorama that you can't use as terrain.
Yeah, exactly. I like all the terrain that can come off of that thing has come off of that thing, and it's not going into that diorama.
I think when I get round to doing mine, I think I'm going to have a look at how it goes together. I'm hoping that I can like magnetize it.
I'll hang on a second.
So that I can sort of take it off and use like the sort of the like crash ship or the rocks or whatever. I'm not sure how much of it is all in one piece.
So let me show you. And people at home, you can't see this at all. Sorry, you couldn't even hear that on the mic either. So that's like the set. That's like almost one piece. I think this lid comes off.
So the bit at the back then.
Yeah, that is all one piece of plastic.
Yeah.
There is like a speeder thing which goes on there.
Yeah, so the speeder can come off. I can magnetize that.
Yeah, there's like a barrel thing there, and then there's loads of little debris. That's all going off. In fact, I am. I'm gonna. Oh, this. Here's an idea on a video I'm going to be doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on.
For those of you listening at home, which is everyone, Elston's got up out of his chair. I say got down out of his chair.
I got off my chair.
And is now carrying some starships.
Yeah. So sorry, back to the microphone here. So I went on eBay and I found some ships. So this is an Obi-Wan Jedi fighter, which is probably about the right scale, which will kind of work.
Yeah, more or less.
More or less. But I also took the chance and ordered some others, and these are not the right scale at all. They are huge, like absolute monsters. And then there's one of the droid doodah things as well. And I was like, right. So I can't really use these as like props on a board or anything like that, or as terrain. So what I can do though is cut them up and then make them look like, for example, this one, which is one that it's basically, for people at home, if you remember the Jedi fighters that Anakin and Obi-Wan are flying around with in Clone Wars, or is it Revenge of the Sith?
Revenge of the Sith, right at the start when they're attacking Grievous's capital ship.
Yeah, so the little fighters they're flying around with, I basically got one of those, but it's a fair bit big. It's sort of like a bit bigger than the size of my head. So what I'm going to do is going to cut it up and wedge it into the terrain, and I'm going to try and make a board which has like a raised side and then a top where you can put the struggle counter.
Nice.
So one side will be like a scenery one, and then it'll have a struggle counter, and then the rest will be kind of area which you should be able to put terrain down on top of it, but I'm going to have a little kind of couple of things set in place there as well to do that. So I'm going to be cutting up toys, and I think this one I can actually just turn this into a power generator by cutting this into all bits. And to everyone at home, if you want to know what I'm talking about, there is one of the droid fighter ships is like a tri one. It's I think what they use for their fast attack.
I think they are just called tri-wings.
Tri-wings, yeah, something like that. It's basically got a ball in the middle and then like 3 kind of bits coming off of it, and they're used for the fast thing. And I'm going to sort of cut off each one of the sections of the tri thing, and then I think I can turn them into power generators on their side. So that's an idea. And then the Obi-Wan starship will just stay on the board as terrain.
Nice.
And everyone that didn't hear that last bit because I moved away from the microphone, the Obi-Wan starship will just stay on the board as terrain.
Tri-Fighter, they're actually called.
Tri-Fighter.
Obviously.
Tri-Fighter. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so yeah, that's... So, but yes, I completed Shatterpoint. I painted all the models.
It's been really nice watching you post them every single day.
Thank you.
Every single day, it's just a little reminder of which models I've not painted yet. I really appreciated it.
It's fine. I honestly, like, it was such a weird thing, and it's something I realized I've kind of neglected Instagram a fair amount for my social media, like viewing, sort of publicizing. I've always kind of done YouTube and a bit of Facebook, and I was like, well, Instagram is just pictures, and I realized I paint so much I can almost paint, I can post every single day with a new mini. And I started realizing as well, because I was looking on Instagram, there are so many good painters, like so many, to the point where there's so many that it's no longer a unique thing being a really good painter. I don't think, like, there's so many of them that they're like, oh, this guy's amazing. This guy's amazing. And I could just scroll all day and there'll be a new amazing painter every couple of seconds. And I'm like, okay. But how many of them are painting armies, and how many of them paint at least a mini a day and it's not their full-time job? So I was like, no. And I was like, right, this is where I need to step in and find my little wiggle room. So, I think I'm going to put a little bit of effort into just at least taking a picture of stuff I painted and putting it on Instagram once a day. So, yeah, I've done that. What else did I do? I painted, I got the base coat, well, at least the first 2 layers down on about 50 more Night Lords. Because
just as a casual half an hour job.
Kinda. Yeah, I'm painting an Iron Warriors army as well as the White Scars as well at the same time. So I'm hitting like 3 legions at once. And I might have to paint my Custodes soon as well, because Valrak's possibly running a gaming day up at Warhammer World. And my 40k army is in New Zealand. Well, my Tyranids I can't take to Warhammer World because they are 3D printed heads. And I think they might get stroppy about that. So yeah, my Krieg are currently in New Zealand with Lockie. Unless... I need to paint another 40k army. So yeah, that's what I've done.
There we go. So thanks everyone for listening to the podcast.
I done do stuff.
Right. So that's what we've both been that's what Elson's been working on, and I did something as well.
Yeah, you did.
onto the main topic then, which is Star Wars Shatterpoint. I don't know what order these got revealed in. I'm going to go down them in the order that I've got them on my Discord.
Sure.
A load of Shatterpoint stuff today. Released, which do you know what? Going back to school madness, I completely forgot that they were doing a stream like in the middle of this month to reveal all this stuff. So getting in this evening and having one of my mods just be like, "Oh, have you taken a look in the brand new To View channel yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, no." Plo Koon looks so cool.
So now, interesting. Plo Koon doesn't look like he's displayed with anyone at the moment. I'm not sure if he's going to come out on single.
Plo Koon is coming with. He comes out with Padawan Ahsoka, and I've got the list.
They didn't show any pictures. Did they show pictures of that? Or was it
we've already seen Padawan Ahsoka because that was the early, the bonus thing that people got.
Is they putting out that limited edition sculpt back out into?
Yeah, they always said that was going to be the case though. They basically did it as like a bonus for people when they bought it sort of early on.
Yeah, it was a pre-order thing.
But they said to everyone, it's not a limited edition model. It's just an early release. of that particular model, but then all the rest of them, it'll come out, in the Plo Koon box.
Oh, cool, cool.
So you get Plo Koon as the primary, Padawan Ahsoka as the secondary, and then you get Commander Wolf. Oh, that's interesting. Commander Wolf secondary as well, and the 104th Wolfpack Troopers as the support. So you get 2 secondaries in that box.
Oh, that's going to be weird. Is that going to be 5 models in one box then?
Well, yeah, we'll get to that as well. So that's weird.
5 models though is starting to look a lot more common. From
looking at some of the other images, we'll move on to. I'm going to keep going down these in order because otherwise I'll forget what I talked about.
Sure.
So the next set that I've got here is the one that we saw before at Adepticon, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's going to be another dual pack between Luke and Vader," because they were sort of next to each other, and I was like, "No, they won't," because of the costume and the pose that Luke's in. And then because of the other models that were there, I said that's going to be one pack. So we've got the Anakin, Luke Skywalker, R2-D2 with the drink stuff attachments, Leia in her bounty hunter disguise, and Lando in his bounty hunter disguise is a pack that comes. That's those 4. So interestingly, that one is listed as. So Luke is obviously the primary, Leia is the secondary, and then Lando and R2 are the supports in that pack.
See, that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting with a lot of these. We're going to have to kind of guess what the secondaries and the support are, because I think a lot of the supports are going to get tied together, especially when you get to...
I think it's because so far, all of the support models... Actually, no, the Cad Bane box, they were all individual characters, weren't they?
No, the devil dude and the little bat dude are support.
No, I know they're both support, but I mean they're not the same character.
Oh,
so because all the droids is you get 2 sets of B1s or 2 sets of B2s or 2 sets of Magna Guard, or you get 2 clones. They're the same. Yeah. So your supporting unit it's the same thing. Whereas with the Cad Bane box, you've got 2 separate characters, but that are
one unit,
one supporting unit. So the different models is what I mean.
Yeah. Because they run off the same card, but they are very different.
I'm assuming then that there will just be one card that will be for
R2 and Lando.
But that's a really weird combo.
The Cad Bane one did the same. I
just mean in terms of R2-D2 as a character is obviously going to be able to do different things than what Lando can do, and vice versa. So it's real because obviously the clones being you get 2 clones and them having the same card and the same stats obviously makes sense.
Yeah.
For example, R2-D2 has got thrusters built into his legs and can fly. Lando can't. So
sure.
It's weird. I'd be interested to see how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Cad Bane one as well also kind of highlights that because there's a little droid that goes with that as well. So there's a little droid bat face dude and Red Devil man, and they all run off the same card. But I think that kind of logic's going to be a bit more prevalent because especially when we get round to some of these other ones. So
we'll move on to the next. The next slot then is the other half of the stuff that we saw at Adepticon, which I said again, this was what was going to be the case.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm a big fan. So it's Vader, a commander stormtrooper, and then 2 stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Not sure if I'm a massive fan of the sculpt on the Vader.
Right.
Looking at it, I think the other Vader in the you cannot run the dual box, the one with old man.
Yeah, I think it's the cloak, isn't it, that's doing it?
Yeah, I think it might just be a weird photo. It's also against a starry black background, so that might not be helping. But the cloak just looks really weird, and also I don't know, the positioning, how he's holding his lightsaber.
Hang on a second. It's that. Right. if you paired up Luke and Vader like that, they probably hit a very dynamic pose together.
Yeah.
If you ever look at
So
that's probably why Vader's
probably why.
that. Yeah. Okay.
But that cape is billowing far too much up. If you look at Vader, it's a very powerful but very static pose.
Yeah,
he's obviously
it's a parachute Batman kind of thing going on.
And the cape is billowing out far too much. Like he must be stood in front of a massive fan.
Exactly.
But I mean, other than the cape, I mean, to be fair, when I get mine, I might try and move that cape down a little bit.
Yeah,
that is very, very high up.
Or try and make my own. I might be pushing it.
I mean, the model itself is fine. I think it's just that cape. It's throwing me. It's far too billowing for what it should be. Like I say, he's essentially stood in place with both hands on his lightsaber, I'm assuming like some sort of defense or a strong attack. It's not like if he was running, I could understand why the cape would be up, but Darth Vader does not run.
Yeah, it's odd as well. Like off of Vader is like getting used to painting stormtroopers, because I've been getting used to painting clones now. I think I've kind of got clones down.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but there's kind of like, as you get used to a particular thing, the stormtroopers are just a bit. I always prefer the clone troopers, like helmet style, versus the stormtrooper. But yeah, I can understand the logic. So,
but yeah, that's cool. I honestly expected. I thought because we saw the Darth Vader and I think we saw the Commander Stormtrooper in the picture of Adepticon. But then we didn't see the other two, and I wasn't sure if we were going to get just other stormtroopers, or if we were going to get something like the Imperial Royal Guard or something. The guys in red. But then I guess that there's probably going to be like a Palpatine box at some point, and they'll be in that.
I would have thought there's going to be a Palpatine at some point.
You can't not really, can you? No. What they'll do is they'll release him as part of the terrain. A limited edition box that's only available in America.
Yeah. Also, very much there's going to be a Yoda at some point, right?
Oh yeah, there's got to be. This is the thing. Like, there's so many characters across the entire, and especially like when we get to some of the ones later on, like it's really cool that they are using stuff from all across Star Wars. It's not just stuff from films, but at the same time, it is nice to see stuff from the original trilogy, which includes the next one that we've got here. Now, I know I complained a little bit about Darth Vader's cape as being a little bit too blustery for me. But the rest of the model is fine, and to be fair, I think I can probably fix that cape. I can do a bit of melting or something, or some moving or something, and try and calm that down a little bit. I honestly think that the model in this... So we knew we were getting Ewoks.
Yeah.
What we've actually been shown is 2 different Ewok boxes, which, I mean, I love Ewoks. I'm not sure we needed two sets of Ewoks.
It's going to be excessive amount of Ewoks.
It's going to be a crazy amount of Ewoks.
I mean, now furries are going to full on half mast the entire time these guys will be out.
But if I'm honest, I'm really not a fan of the layer that is in. So there's one set of Ewoks that's got Leia in, and there's another set of Ewoks which I'll talk about in a minute. The one that's got Leia in, really not a fan, and I think it doesn't for me, it doesn't match the same quality or the same sort of design style. It looks like, and I don't mean this in any sort of negative way towards Crooked Dice, but it looks like a Crooked Dice model. When you see those like, here's like not Ghostbusters, or here's not whatever, and it's obviously supposed to be a likeness of a real person. That does not look like Leia. That looks the face is weird.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping one of 2 things. I'm hoping, one, they've chosen not the greatest angle on the photo. That's one thing. Well, 2, paint job possibly could have been different. I don't know. And 3, I'm hoping she comes with a helmeted option, a bit like the illustration. that's going on, and then I think that would probably fix it for me.
Like, help it a bit. I don't know. Like I said, looking at that, like I don't mean this in a bad way because I like Crooked Dice stuff, but it definitely has its own look.
Yes.
And I mean, part of it might just be that the art style for Shatterpoint, both in terms of like the artwork and the miniatures, is definitely leans more into the animated look of things rather than the movie look, which is fine while we were doing all the Clone Wars stuff. But obviously, then when you get onto the original trilogy, do you swap art style and make it look like the real people, or do you?
Yeah, because for example, Dooku and stuff like is a very much squarer head. Much like the Clone Wars animated, whereas Dooku in real life would not look like that.
Because it's kind. I mean, I didn't really look at the face on the Luke model. It's not as bad, but the nose looks very wide on that.
Yeah,
I can't remember Mark Hamill having quite as fat a nose. I mean, again, it might just be down to the painting, but it's fine. Like, you know, when it's droids or when it's like people with helmets and stuff on, you don't notice. But then as soon as I guess it's just it's the problem of as soon as it's a model that is supposed to look like an actual real person that you've seen. It's hard. Not that it's impossible. I mean, there's plenty of Lord of the Rings models out there from GW that have proven that it's more than capable of doing that. But the other Ewok group, so in that box with Leia, you get Leia, I think is the primary. I'm just going to double check that. You get Leia, Freedom Fighter as the primary. You get Chief Chirper as a second primary.
Oh.
You get Paplu as a secondary, and you get the Ewok Hunters as support.
Mm-hmm.
In the next pack, you get Log Ray as a primary, R2D2 and C3PO as secondaries. I really like these two, the R2 and C3PO
right.
You get Wicket as a secondary, and then you get Ewok Trap as a support. So because we're seeing a lot of these boxes have got multiple options for primaries and support, so it's not just a primary, a secondary, and then a support. You're getting multiple options, which is kind of cool. Is that then going to put the price up of the boxes? Probably.
Probably.
Because we know that it's not just a set price for all the boxes, because the Grievous box was more expensive than the other expansions. And there was the same amount of models. It was just that they were bigger.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these boxes were the same sort of price point as the Grievous box, with them containing essentially like 4 and 5 units instead of 3 or 4 units.
Yeah, and like a complete bit of a tangent with these Ewok ones, I am definitely not doing desert bases. They are full on going forest base, like for the Ewoks, because
you've got to.
Yeah, like if you don't, R2 and C3PO could probably stay on the standard, but the Ewoks, we're going full on jungle.
This is the only problem that not a problem as so much, but like my OCD really struggles with basing for Shatterpoint because everything can be used with everything. Yeah. It's not like you can just go, well, this is this team and this is. I mean, you could do, but then if you ever want to swap it out, bases won't match. So I'm doing all mine so they vaguely match. But then when I come to these, it's going to be exactly the same. I'm like, these need to be forest bases. It wouldn't make sense for me to put them on sand bases like the rest of my stuff.
I think they're just going to have to be unique. Ewoks will get their own unique base type, and I'll just leave it at that. But
the Ewoks, the Ewoks themselves, like I say, it's just the Leia in that one box that is sort of throwing me a little bit. But all of the Ewoks look really cool. Not entirely certain that we needed 2 boxes of them. I mean, I'm not complaining as much because it's like
I'm really intrigued to see how they work in the actual game. If you had just run all Ewoks.
If you can well, this is it. Like them doing that.
It's going to be
maybe that's why they have done it. Is so you can run. You've got enough stuff so that you can just run an Ewok team.
Yeah, because there's going to be Ewok synchronizations and stuff like that.
So hang on, let's have a look at the list. So you get, you get an Ewok primary. So there's 2 Ewok primaries, 1 in each box.
Yeah, 2 Ewok.
There's 2 Ewok secondaries, 1. 1 in each box, and then there's 2 sets of Ewok supports. So you can run a full Ewok team,
a full Ewok strike team.
That's
which is thing to say.
That is pretty cool, to be fair.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let them off for doing 2 Ewok boxes back to back.
Yeah, and they've basically thrown Leia and C-3PO and R2-D2 in there for good measure.
Yeah, R2-D2 and C-3PO are on the same base, by the way. They're not on separate bases, if you've not seen the images. What I might do, actually, for this podcast, if you're watching on the video version, is I might save all these images and sort of put them up when we're talking about them.
Okay, cool.
Might be a bit more helpful. But they are really nice sculpts. Actually, the R2-D2 and C-3PO reminds me of an R2-D2 and C-3PO chess piece that I painted a while back. From a Star Wars chess set that I'd got, and I painted up, and it's like pretty much the exact same pose.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. So those are all that set, and then we then got finally what people have been asking for, some new missions.
Yeah,
a mission pack, because one of the biggest complaints that I've heard about Shatterpoint has been the repetitiveness of the mission, and like technically there are like I can't remember how many different combinations, but there's a big combination of how the mission can play out, but it is essentially just one mission. Like the objectives are only ever going to be in one of 9 places. And I don't know how many, if because there's an image here that's showing like 10 cards.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's all the cards you get in it or if that's just some of them. But yeah, there's a mission pack coming, Sabotage Showdown apparently. That's going to, it looks actually how it's sort of laid, how the objectives are laid out all look really weird.
Which is going to be good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a bit more variety. And it just means you're going to have some more missions to play, which is cool.
I think that's coming out on the 3rd of November as well, so we don't actually have to wait that
long. It's pretty cool, pretty close as well. I've not looked at any release dates for any of these.
I don't know about the minis. All I heard was the mission packs, because everyone was like, when am I getting these?
So if the mission packs are coming out in November, then on the cover of the mission this is what I'm most excited about. It's Hondo. For those of you that aren't massively up on all the cartoons, Hondo is like a recurring character both in Clone Wars and Rebels. He's essentially just a pirate. But he's such a cool character. Like
he's almost Jack Sparrow, but
that is a perfect comparison. He's Jack Sparrow, but in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because he never like actually gets what he's trying to do. Like he always like fools whoever he's fooling, but then ends up getting himself caught out or something. And ultimately he's kind of a good guy. But he's very much, it's basically like Han Solo is like a smuggler. But Han Solo ended up being like staying and fighting and helping and stuff, whereas Hondo is a pirate and he's just a pirate. Like,
he's just like,
nope. But he's good. But he's good though. And I just think it's really cool that there's like he's got a team. So there's Hondo and his pirates as a box. Now I'm wondering whether they'll be in November as well. I've not seen any release dates, but with Hondo being on the cover of the Showdown mission pack box, for me it would make sense for the Hondo box to come out at the same time, right. And as far as I'm aware, we don't know what's coming out next month. Like the last lot of models that we knew were coming out was Cad Bane and Queen Amidala. Yep. So we don't know what's coming next month, if anything's coming next month.
No, I'm not sure if they're going to have a break or not, but yeah. Also as well, to anyone that really tuned in for 40k stuff, sorry.
Sorry, but we like Shatterpoint.
Yeah. Star Wars is cool.
And there's still more to go. This is the thing. They showed off so much.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So we've got the Hondo set. We've got the Mandalorian box.
Right. This is interesting. It's just us 3.
Yeah, so there's just 3. I quite like what they've done with the model for Din Djarin and Grogu, and how they've managed to attach Grogu to Jin's cape so that he doesn't have to have a weird stand. That's pretty cool. So let me go down to the list and see if we can see. So, all right. So it doesn't say whether they are primaries or anything like that.
So probably assume Mando is primary. And then,
but this is the thing, though. Like, I could see either of those as a secondary. I imagine it's probably what's his name, the guy that runs the town as the secondary, and then the droid as the support.
Yeah, it's going to be a brutal support, though, isn't it? If it's just one, that's going to be.
But that's the thing; it's just the one model.
Yeah, which usually means they're pretty hench. Like that's what you get with like Inquisitors. They're just like, ugh.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then to go with that, obviously, we've then got Moff Gideon and the Dark Troopers, which, do you know what? I've been really looking forward to these coming just because I think we got Dark Troopers fairly recently in Legion. I seem to remember them getting, like, not as in like in the last few weeks, but I'm sure it was like early this year or last year at some point. So I sort of went, oh, well, it'll be a while before they come to Shatterpoint. But no, I mean, it still might be, but it's cool that we've seen them now. I'm a big fan of these. I really like the Dark Troopers.
I'm a big fan of these as well. Yeah.
So that's cool. And then we also got, now this is pretty cool because this is
Iden Versio, is that
she is the one from Battlefront.
Yeah.
So we've gone from we're not just getting minis from films, we're not just getting minis from cartoons and anime. We're now getting models from the video games as well, which is really cool because I'm really hoping that we get a model of Cal Kestis from Fallen Order. But yeah, that just opens up, and also like maybe some Knights of the Old Republic.
Possibly.
Do you know what I mean? There's like this, like if they're going into video game territory, the problem is a lot of it's not canon anymore. But you know, you can dream, can't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I like the approach they're taking with it because they're hitting most of the main characters to like get everyone kind of hyped for it, essentially. And they're like teasing all of them. So like Iden Versio's cool because it really wasn't expected. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. Let's see how that one plays out. Again, another 5.
Another 5 models, which I'm assuming is a primary, and then you've got your option of a couple of different secondaries, and then you support.
Which are cool.
So I'm guessing that your option of your 2 secondaries are the 2 guys on the right hand side, and then your support are the just sort of generic troopers on the left.
Yeah, that would be my thought.
Then we've also got obviously we've got to have Han and Chewie. I actually really the first time I looked at this Chewbacca model, I was a bit sort of like, oh, that's a bit. It looks too much like a big raccoon. I think they've overdone it a little bit with the black on the eyes.
No, see, they do that a lot. I've noticed that they had it with Aura Singh. Like she's got real big eyeshadow, so I've been replicating that, and I actually left a look, and I was like, she didn't have that. What's the deal with this big mascara makeup thing going
on? So I think they've just overdone the sort of black fur around his eyes a little bit, but the model itself is gorgeous. I think the Han is actually out of the original trio of models that we've seen. So Luke, Leia, and Han. I think the Han model looks the most like Han.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'd say Han is pretty on point.
Yeah, it's spot on. Like the face is spot on, the hair spot on. Like I said, the Leia and the Luke are slightly off for me.
And then we got some Rebel fighters, and this is kind of leaning me into going, well, if the Ewoks are on jungle bases and those guys are jungle fighters, do they all need to be jungle? And is my next phase jungle? Is kind of where I'm thinking.
Well, I think the thing for me, actually, that I've just thought of is that you can't mix eras. So not everything can be used with everything. Correct, for me, I am absolutely fine with having my original trilogy era stuff on a different style of bases or a couple of different styles of bases. All my prequels and Clone Wars stuff is done on like sandy bases, or sort of like a mix between sand and grimy metallic floor bases.
That's kind of the feel of the Clone Wars, though, wasn't it?
So they're fine, and then maybe my original trilogy will be a more foresty. I don't know. That's a cool idea, though. And it also lets me vary it up a little bit. So we saw those, and then there was some more terrain shown off, which I don't know if this is just one pack or if this is just a piece of terrain. I can't really tell how big it is. It looks like a fairly chunky piece.
I would imagine it's going to be a terrain pack, but
but no, I mean, is this just it, or is there some other stuff in it? Because this just by itself, and then a rock with a rat on it.
It's a swamp rat.
I'm not really sure if it's going to be the same cost as like the other terrain packs. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's big, but is it that big? And
I mean, is it like? I don't know. I mean, it looks cool. It's a cool terrain. What I would like to see from the terrain stuff that they do, and I get why they've sort of done something else that's similar to the other stuff so that it sort of fits in. But I want them to do like some completely different stuff. Like I'd like to see some like Tatooine, like some Mos Eisley huts with like the domed roofs and stuff. Or I'd like to see like some like Naboo like architecture or something. Do you know what I mean? Like something different.
Well, this is the interesting thing about Shatterpoint as well. There's nothing in the rules to say you can't just 3D print that and do it yourself. There's like absolutely nothing in there whatsoever. And like I know Firestorm at the moment, they've got a 3D printing service and they have some like Star Wars style terrain that they can print off. And I was like, ooh. But
that was it for all the models that were shown off. Then we got a couple of teasers, which again I'm super excited for. So we got a Bad Batch image.
I see now. Here's something I'm sick because you haven't watched Bad Batch yet, have you?
I'm about halfway through the first season.
Oh, okay, cool. Right, so
I'm on it.
So you know, Crosshairs like goes bad. At the beginning. Yeah. So, but Crosshairs on that picture.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are they going to split that into two?
No, I imagine they'll do it as one, just because he's like a recurring character still, isn't he? Like he's still in.
No, I mean, because in theory you have a primary, secondary, and a support. Now, Now, I would say each one of those characters is completely valid to be a primary, a secondary, or a support in their own right. I think all of them could work that way. I would imagine Hunter and Crosshair will be primaries. Would be my guess. Echo and Tech, possibly secondaries. I don't know. Like,
it's hard to work it out. And I don't, to be honest, like looking at some of the stuff that we've seen earlier, I don't think it's always going to make sense because we very much, as people that play war games and people that have grown up watching Star Wars and have done the whole sort of who'd win in a fight between Darth Vader and Yoda, like, or like who'd win in a fight between Godzilla and Yoda. Yeah. Like it's always Yoda. So we've done all this. So we have our internal power levels for different characters. Like we know this character more powerful than this character.
Yeah.
Arguably, I would say that Leia is probably more powerful than an Ewok.
Yes,
but they are both primaries in that other box. So I don't think it's always going to make sense on our sort of geeky, like who would win in a fight sort of headspace. And also, it's interesting that you mentioned about how they're going to split it because I don't know how they're going to split the other sort of teas that we got. And I think we've seen renders of these before, which is the Ghost crew from Rebels. I mean, there's a couple of obvious to me. Like how they're going to split it. Like I would assume that what they will have is Kanan as a primary. They would have
what's his name? I mean, I think they've done it in the order of the cards being laid out. If they were split it in two, I think that's how they would do it.
Possibly.
Like Sindala and Kanan as primaries, then Ezra and I can't remember his Seb as secondaries, and then Sabine and Chopper as support. Although Sabine and Seb could be
it's the same issue though. Like individually, they are all
Yeah.
Like they've all got their own like a strength. They're not, to me, like I look at it as like primaries and secondaries are usually like your main character and then a slightly less main character, and then your support is just general riffraff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's your disposable background character. But when you've got a set of 6 like this, like who's getting demoted to the background character?
But but saying that, like we've come up with a thing saying support is the lower side of things. But if you go to like the Inquisitor side of things, the lower ones are still Inquisitors.
Well, this is it, yeah.
Lethal.
So it's all relative, isn't it? Like I think my head is still stuck in like support is the droids or support is the clones, like just generic clones. It's really cool. Do you know, I'm really enjoying that they're doing stuff like this though, and that they're sort of mixing it up a bit, and it's not just going to be stuck to one primary, one secondary, and then whatever support in a box. Like I like that they're adding more options into each box.
Yeah.
And also doing like fun stuff like this, like having the Ghost crew and the Bad Batch crew.
Yeah.
Because that's like it's probably either going to be 2 regular size boxes or 1 big box.
Yes, yeah.
For that set.
So yeah, the Bad Batch and Rebels, Ghost Crew, are kind of in exactly the same position as the 6 of them, and then
there's 6 in each.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, what are you gonna do?
And then the final thing that we've got here, which is it's just a massive tease. That's all it is obviously Thrawn.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. I'm still waiting to see him in the series at the moment.
I don't want to see him in the series because it's the only thing that I know is going to spoil it for me so far.
Why?
Because he just looks like Elon Musk with a blue face.
But it's the same voice.
It don't matter to me. Like, for me, it is more important on a TV show for him to look right than sound right. Within reason. Like, obviously, I don't want him to come out with a helium voice.
Yeah.
But like, on a TV show, it's more important that he looks like the character than to sound like the character. Because, to be honest, 9 out of 10, like, most people aren't going to know what he's like. Other than other people, like, going, yeah, but it's the same voice actor. Like, I get it, and it's cool. And, you know, good for him. But he doesn't look right. He looks like Elon Musk. Someone's put a blue filter on his face. His face is too round. It's too normal. It's not pointy enough.
The problem is with Thrawn is because he was alien. He was very much an elongated head, and I think you need to find someone that was generally a bit.
You don't. It's prosthetics, like.
Not to make a face work in a proper way. You need to find
because all they need to do is like take his chin out a little bit more and a slightly like bigger forehead. Like, I'm pretty certain it's 2023. We have the technology.
I don't care that much, to be honest with you. I'm just excited to see it.
It just annoys me just because.
What,
I think what it is just because he does look so much like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like I think if it wasn't for that, and if it was just some other guy with a blue face, like I don't think I'd be as annoyed. But it just looks like Elon Musk.
He's got a real hatred for Elon Musk. Like, oh, damn it, he looks like Elon. Damn you, Elon.
I mean, I'm not particularly a fan of Elon.
Each their own at the end of the day, but yeah. So sadly, Mr. Thrawn actor, you look too much like Elon Musk. So
no, the guy playing him in Ahsoka looks too much like Elon Musk. Like Thrawn himself, like actual Thrawn from Rebels, does not look like Elon Musk.
What I'm a little bit confused about the whole thing with Thrawn is everyone's like, oh, the heir to the Empire. I'm like, Thrawn doesn't use the Force or anything. I know he's super smart. But that's about it.
But it's not just that he's super smart. Like, Thrawn never lost a battle.
He did a couple of times in Rebels.
Nope.
He got, like, lightninged out of the place when that weird monkey thing turned into a storm.
But he didn't lose the battle, did he?
They didn't win.
Yeah, but he didn't lose.
That's the
this is the thing. But yeah, it baffles me as well. I mean,
well, he lost the battle with Ezra, didn't he? Got zapped to another galaxy.
Yeah, well, he didn't lose. He just got moved somewhere else.
He still lost then. You're like, okay, I'm going to win this. No, bye. You're like, I mean, I can win a fight by moving the person into a swimming pool.
He's just a genius tactician. Like, he was always one step ahead. And
don't get me wrong, he was clever, and it was kind of cool to see a clever general.
It is the sort of like I'm looking forward to seeing, because like I think it'd be hilarious if they did all this stuff and everyone's going like, oh yeah, he's going to heir to the empire and he's going to be whatever. And obviously, I know that there's the old legend books that this is sort of semi based on, but like in canon, in current canon, I think it'd be hilarious if they did all this to find him and he's just chilling on a beach somewhere, just quite happily enjoying retirement. And they're like, "You're going to be the new heir to the empire. You're gonna rule and help us." And he's just like, "Nah."
He's like,
"I'm cool. That's fine."
Another pina colada, please.
Yeah, just drinking a pina colada out of a coconut shell.
Yeah,
with his shorts on and his stupid Elon Musk face.
I'm working on my blue tan.
Blue tan.
Do you go green? I'm
assuming.
Blue?
So looking at that, then I'm assuming that we're going to get Thrawn, but then I'm assuming we'll get some of the other characters as well from Rebels.
Yeah.
Because like you can't just have the Ghost Crew and Thrawn. You've got to have some of the others.
Like evil hench lady that was kind of on his side, maybe a bit.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I guess, and then just troopers.
There'll be troopers. There'll be some of the sort of officers that you see throughout the series.
So now here's a question as well to kind of steer us off topic and also kind of wrap up this, because this was the last little thing they showed off. This little show off thing is, where could they go next?
There's so much they can do. So what I personally want to see is I want to see some narrative stuff. So I would like, how the GW with the Lord of the Rings stuff, they obviously have your game, you have this many points, you play a game, whatever. But then they have the different narrative books. Like there's like there used to be obviously the ones where you could play through like the 3 movies. And there'd be like different missions that were different iconic parts of those films that you would just use, and they would have their own set up tailored rules, and you play with these models, and your objective is like the Buckleberry Ferries, like your objective is to get across, and you've got a ring wraith chasing you, or you've got do you know what I mean, stuff like that. I would like to see something like that for Star Wars Shatterpoint, where you've got, I mean, at this point, especially with all this stuff, you've got enough key characters and things that you could recreate some really cool like moments from films, from the TV shows, and set up those missions of like, this is like, for example, you've got like the Ghost Crew, and you've got the Inquisitors, and we've got Darth Vader, and we've got Ahsoka. Like, you could quite easily set up like a mission that is the end of season 2 of Rebels.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like set up, but like it would need to be like a specific, like a book or something that is not objective based. That it would just be like a narrative thing to play casually, because that's the thing. That's the only downside for me at the moment, and it's not really a downside because I'm enjoying the gameplay. But I would like to see more narrative stuff put in. And whether that's something that comes now or whether it's something, I mean, to be fair, if it's not something that Asmodee do themselves, I'm pretty certain there are enough people that are good at writing rules and obviously know the Star Wars lore and universe and stuff that could put something out. Do you know what I mean? As like a fan-made thing. Okay. So that I would like to see that. In terms of models, there's other bounty hunters I'd like to see, like Bosk. They could just do a bounty hunter set from like Empire, like the bounty hunters that are on that Darth Vader hires. Like they could do that set. I'd like to see. I wasn't a massive fan of the Rebel models for Legion, but I'd like to see some more variety for some Rebels models, like some Hoth ones, which I think would be cool. Like I said, I'd like to see some other video game characters. So like from Jedi Survivor and stuff. Obviously, the other Jedi that we're missing, we've got Yoda. I don't think we've got Plo Koon coming. We've not had one for What's his name? He has an orange lightsaber.
Orange?
Yeah. I used to play as him all the time in Star Wars Power Battles, Jedi Power Battles.
Oh.
I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But yeah, there's like other like Jedi and stuff that are more like deep cut. Obviously, there's like Yoda that's missing.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'd like to see Yoda. I think we might get Yoda. I'm just going to say this: like, we've got enough clones. So what I would like to see is Yoda with some Wookiees.
That would be cool.
I would like to see Yoda with some Wookiees, and whether it's Chewbacca and then 2 others, or whether it's someone else and 2 others, I don't mind. But I'd like to see Yoda with some Wookiees because I think we've got enough clones now. Like we've got like there's more clones in Shatterpoint than anything else.
Yeah,
and I know they're all like different stats and different models, but like they're still clones. Like it is essentially the same guy.
Yeah.
So like that. Do you know what would be really cool to see? Like if we're doing Ewoks, let's have Jawas. Let's have some Jawas and Sand people.
Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, let's have that. Let's have that as a box.
So my wish list is Boba Fett with the big black Wookiee, and that Asian bounty hunter lady.
Yeah,
that would be one of my dreams because he was a cool Wookiee, and he was mean. I would like to see Old Man Kenobi, young Luke, and R2D2 and C3PO as a squad.
Oh, from like New Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like
to mean, to be fair, like a sort of Padawan Luke rather than Jedi Master Luke.
Yeah. That would be kind of a cool one I'd like to see.
Do you know what would be cool? Which obviously we've not got in Legion, and it'd be weird. I don't know whether they'd be able to do it, but like, how cool would it be to have a Jabba the Hutt model?
Yeah, I was thinking that. He's huge though, isn't he?
But you could have Jabba the Hutt from New Hope, where he's not huge and he's quite clearly very mobile.
Yeah.
He's very slow though. That's the thing.
Yeah, very slow.
And I don't really think he's got particularly any abilities himself.
Yeah, he's more of he's a kingpin gangster, isn't he?
That might be cool, like to make one though, 3D print one or something as a terrain piece, and do a game board that is Jabba's palace.
Yeah,
with a Rancor pit. Rancor. Oh, that's reminded me. That's reminded me. So that's the other idea. So I've said like the narrative thing. Have you played Frostgrave?
I have not. No, but I know the concept.
Yeah, so Frostgrave, you have the bigger model count than Shatterpoint. You obviously you have your warband, your enemy has your warband, and you play an objective, and that is usually fairly. There's narrative stuff in that as well, but you can just play an objective based game.
Yeah.
But the cool thing with that as well is that each turn you roll, or each time you do certain things, you would roll on a random wandering monster table.
Oh.
And basically, like, so if you pick up treasure, like you roll on that, and then different monsters just turn up
so
in the
like
game.
Rancors show up and stuff.
Yeah. So like you'll be playing against your enemy, but then you're playing against each other, but you also need to make sure you don't die to random enemies that turn up. And something like that, like a random here's like a monster that would never fit in an actual team.
Yeah.
But here's a monster you can buy just as a one-off model by itself, and you can decide if you want to use these additional rules where it might just turn up.
Yep.
And then just have it, and just have like a card that's got like on its turn, this is what it will do. If it's like it will go towards the nearest person and attack. Yeah. If it can't, then it will just move as fast as it can. Do you know what I mean? Like you can have that AI for models. Something like that would be quite cool because there's loads of monsters or like just enemies that won't fit in a squad.
Yeah, exactly.
That you could put into Shatterpoint.
Yeah. I like that concept. Whether or not I worry whether or not it's gone too much into the kind of tournament meta logic already.
Well, this is the thing.
You probably have to say, no, this is like narrative play or something like that.
Yeah, well, this is it. I don't mind that it's doing that because I don't mind playing like the objectives and stuff.
Like, having a rancor on the table, you're like, cool.
Yeah, for me, it's more just about like taking what Shatterpoint is doing a really good job of in the games and the how the gameplay feels. It feels very dynamic and it feels like you are playing an episode of Rebels or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, I would like just to take it that one step further and have like, right, tonight, like me and my friend, we're going to organize to play every week or every couple of weeks, and we're going to play through whatever film or whatever TV series, and we're going to do the missions for that film, and we're going to play through. We've got the models because really, like I know Star Wars is like this big galaxy-spanning like space opera, but like the original trilogy, it's Han, Luke, and Leia, Darth Vader, a bit of Palpatine, some droids, and then just loads of stormtroopers, and we've got all those models.
Yeah, maybe a couple of bounty hunters here and there.
But do you know what I mean? Like they could quite easily, if they so wanted to, and I think that would be really cool because it's already appealing to the sort of tournament-y, like meta chasing like kind of crowd. I think it'd be really cool to appeal to the other side of people that are a little bit more casual, but then it gives them
some like fun, essentially weird things to do.
What it would do if you could have the narrative, like what I'm like suggesting, like narrative play, is essentially it would let you do what we all used to do when we were young and we had our Star Wars action figures, where we would essentially we would recreate battles from the films and we would recreate fights from the films. Like my bedroom was in the attic of my house, so it was the full length of my house. Yeah, and I had one side to the other. I had like the Hoth hangar that I'd made out of cardboard on one side, and then I had the walkers on the other side, and I recreated like the Battle of Hoth.
Nice.
I did that with my action figures, and doing stuff like this, it just gives you an opportunity to do that, but in an actual game, and I think that'd be really cool. Like seeing how successful Games Workshop have been doing that with Lord of the Rings, and I know it's probably not the way that most people play. Most people will just play as I've got this many points for my army and that's it. But it's obviously doing well enough, otherwise they wouldn't keep putting books out with more missions and more narrative stuff.
Right, yeah.
So
people do enjoy it. We're a little bit off topic on the Shatterpoint, but there is that whole argument of, do you listen to the meta tournament players or do you listen to everyone else kind of crowd?
I think if you're smart, you do both.
Yeah.
Because I think realistically, you've got to pay someone to write the stuff. I mean, you haven't got to pay someone to write the story because it's already there. You've basically got to pay someone just to figure out how to balance the mission so that it is fair for both sides, but also it is faithful to the story.
Do you want to know what I really love about Shatterpoint over everything else right now?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't changed the fucking rules. They haven't changed the rules. They haven't put out an errata, which means half of your stuff now does something different, something like that, and 2 months later will do something different.
They did. Well, to be fair, they did put out some sort of rules clarifications and corrections. But they've not changed like how many points things are worth.
Or this now no longer does what it says in the book and it does something completely different. And you're like, I'm glad. And I think I don't think I'm alone by a long shot on that kind of feeling at the moment, because I think from what I've watched on there's a few YouTubers out there, and we're just getting a little bit sick of the changes of 40k. And that's why I don't play 40k, because I can't keep up with it anymore. So I'm like, this is a nice game because it goes, right, here's the rules. It's kind of like chess. You're like, okay, I know the rules. I need to use my intelligence to try and beat this, not use my intelligence to break it, and therefore this now always wins against, I'm not going to go. I've got to stop the rant before it takes off.
But going back to what you were saying about like, who do they listen to? Do they listen to the meta or do they listen to like the more casual players? Like I said, I think if they're smart, they listen to both.
Yeah.
Because there's clearly I think that there would be a big sort of interest in the narrative side as well, because it gives the people that aren't interested in going to tournaments but like the game, it gives them a different way to play.
Or the people that like Star Wars.
It gives them a different way to play, and it's like they're still going to sell models because like they'll need to buy the models for the missions, or realistically they should do. Do you know what I mean? So for me, that's what makes sense. I think that would be really cool, and if they just did it as like. I mean, even if they just did it as like a free PDF download, here's a set of missions that are focused around the Clone Wars series, like there's some iconic like episode like missions or something, or here's a mission set that is based on like A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back or whatever. Like you could easily do like a set of sort of 4 or 5 missions for different things. Just do them as PDFs, and then you've not got to pay for printing and all that sort of stuff. But it's getting more people an option to play in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
While still enjoying your game and your rule set and your models.
Yeah. And I'm hoping Atomic Mass Games, Asmodee, whichever one's doing it, does what they're currently doing. Where they kind of like, here's some stuff for Marvel Crisis Protocol, here's some stuff for Shatterpoint, here's some stuff for Legion. And it's like, it's kind of an equal dice almost of like divvying up how much effort they're putting into each of them. And I don't think, Shatterpoint's big right now, but I know Marvel Crisis Protocol's also big, and there's a new core box coming out for that as well.
Did you see... On the topic of Star Wars Legion, I saw a photo the other day that was someone on, I think it might have been the Asmodee site, and there's like a drop down list for the different factions for Star Wars Legion.
Yeah,
and on that list there was First Order and something else, and I think it was a mistake that it had been put on. So I'm wondering whether there is a new Star Wars Legion core box coming.
That'll be interesting.
For the sequels.
Yeah, so you'll have like Poe and Rey and that lot coming in. Yeah. I mean, there's part of again, the Star Wars universe can be expanded into that side of things as well.
But I mean, that's a whole lot of stuff as well that as we've still obviously got to get to in Shatterpoint. All the sequel stuff, which I know is not everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's necessarily I think it's more the sort of directions the films went in. I think the characters themselves would be quite fun to play as in Shatterpoint.
And there's also the opposite end of the scale where we still need Gungans and Jar Jar.
Yeah. That's always on my wish list. I'm always going to want Gungans. And I just hope that they get some love in Shatterpoint, because obviously they haven't done it in Legion. I saw as well on the photos that my moderator shared, there is one Star Wars Legion post that they've put on, and it is the Geonosians that are being released for Star Wars Legion. There's like the Geonosians are getting a squad box, but still no Gungans.
No Gungans. Oh, poor Gungans. Oh dear. Maybe one day.
Slightly off topic from Star Wars, just before we finish, did you see the Crisis Protocol stuff they showed off as well?
I haven't seen much of the pictures of it.
Are you on the Discord channel?
I will get to Discord. Finally found it, ladies and gentlemen. I know how to use the internet.
Right. So if you scroll down, Bram posted these yesterday. The Marvel stuff.
Okay, right. So it's just gone past Shatterpoint. All right, go back up again. Geonosians. They actually look cool. I like them. Oh, I know. I have seen some. Yeah.
So the Scarlet Spider.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is gorgeous. And I'm assuming is that Lady Venom?
I think that was what I was going to say.
I'm not sure
is she like a guitar axe? She's
like on a guitar axe with a massive tongue that's like coming out of her chest, and there's teeth everywhere. I'm assuming it's some sort of. I'm completely honest. This is not a character. Is this like Gwen Venom or something?
I don't know.
It's not a character I'm familiar with. And like, I pride myself on being super up on all the Spider-Man stuff, but that is not a character I recognize.
No, and then we got Sable, and who's that? That's not Shang-Chi, is it?
I don't know. It's some karate guy with a nunchuck.
Then the Sinister
Six is what I'm super, super excited about. And do you know why? Yeah. A friend of mine, I was trying to get him into Marvel for ages because I was like, I want to play. I need someone to play against, so I need you to get into Marvel. And they were like, nope, not doing it. It's too expensive, and I'm not doing it. And then it came around to his birthday, and I bought him some stuff. So then they were like, now you're into it. You've got no choice. And they were like, do you know what? I'd get into it if they released Shocker, because he's like my favorite villain, just because he's an absolutely waste of space villain. Yeah. And then as soon as they showed off that they were doing Shocker, I sent him the picture and he was like, oh my God, yes, I'm in. But yeah, so we've got the Sinister Six, we've got Shocker, Electro, Sandman, and the Vulture. Yeah. I quite like Sandman that he comes with like the extra, like his extra sand.
Yeah, is the truck with the hand coming out part of his deal, or is that just a thing they did?
I don't know if that truck is going to be like some terrain that they release. Yeah. The hand is definitely part of the Sandman set from the models, from what they've shown off previously.
Right.
So like there's the hand, and then on the you look behind Electro, there's like the swirly thing. Yeah. So like that's all Sandman. Because of like obviously what he can do. So whether that Oscorp exploding truck is something that's going to be terrain, or whether that's just something they did for the photo for set dressing, I don't know. Some of this definitely is not like proper terrain. Like the hard hat area fence behind Electro, you can see is made out of just coffee stirrers by the looks of it. Yeah,
exactly. And then there's also Thor. Thor and the Asgardians.
Yes, we've got Thor, Lady Thor, Loki, and what's her name?
Is it? It's not Valkyrie, is it?
No, it's not Valkyrie. It's Lady. Is it Sith?
Oh, yeah.
I think. I'm assuming that's who it is anyway. It's either that or a really, really bad Wonder Woman.
Is Lady Thor like the Mighty Thor? Was that what the name she went in the film? Is it the Mighty Thor?
I can't remember.
Something like that, isn't it?
I can't remember. It depends whether they're basing it, because like in the comics, it was like Lady Thor was a thing in the comics as well before they did it in the MCU.
Which is kind of weird if you're like a woman. And you go, okay, I kind of do what he does, so therefore I must be lady thing. So be like,
no. Like it's the same in the movies. Like she was Thor. Like she was. In the comics. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, as a concept in its own right, because like Thor is obviously Thor, the guy Thor.
Yeah.
But then everyone started getting other names like the Mighty Thor, Lady Thor, and stuff like that, and it'd be okay, I'm Lady Elston. And I'll be like, huh?
It's the same argument as Hulk and She-Hulk. Like,
yeah, right. It's just
I get it, but it's just it's Marvel, innit? Marvel's been around for a while and names stick.
Old fashioned. Yeah. It's just now in this more modern age, I'm like, it's a bit weird, right? And
I think it's more to do with branding, if I'm honest. Like Thor as a name, like people know who Thor is. They know Marvel. They know they know what they're getting. If they just came up with like a random other name, like
Lady God of Thunder, you were like,
well, not even that. You have to be Lady. Like if they like Thor is Thor's name. Like he's not called Thor because of what he is. He's called Thor because that's his name. So like if they just put a comic out and just called it, if they just put a comic out and called it Jane. You've got to either know or have someone then explain it to you and be like, oh, right, I get it. Yeah. So like just putting the Thor name on there. But yeah, exactly. People do that anyway. So just putting the Thor name on it, I think it's more to do with branding, really. Brand association and awareness.
Yeah, it just made me chuckle. It was But
so they look cool. I know that it's a little bit away from Shatterpoint, but
it's kind of they keep on trying to tempt me back into Marvel Crisis Protocol, and like if I ever find like a box which is like a decent price, I'm like I snap it up if I can. But they're kind of pricey box sets, so you kind of hunt around for the deals with them.
The way that I'll be looking at it is basically
Chaos cards, send me stuff.
It kind of depends on when stuff comes out, because at the moment I'm having so much fun. And like I explained in my video that I put out a couple of weeks ago, I'm having so much fun with the Shatterpoint stuff. And I've been a Star Wars fan for a hell of a lot longer and more ingrained with Star Wars than I am with Marvel. So I mean, I will definitely be picking up any of the new Spider-Man stuff, like Scarlet Spider, and the Sinister Six stuff, just because that was fantastic, and Spider-Man's always been my favourite. I think I'm going to be getting the new core box.
Sure.
But then other stuff, it might just be sort of as and when, or if I just decide I want to paint it. Like the Thor stuff looks cool because there's loads of like cool lightning energy, which would be fun to paint. But I'm
not sold on it massively myself. I like the aesthetic change, because it's very much more comic book style.
Yes.
Which I like, but I don't know if I like it as much as like Scarlet Spider like aesthetic. Does that?
So that Scarlet Spider it's a beautiful model, beautifully posed,
right,
and painted really, really nicely.
Yeah, it's got that kind of realistic element of going, okay, it's like super dynamic. In that side of things, and compared to the Thor stuff is it obviously it lives in its own world with doing what it does, but I think I like a slight bit more realism. I think that's what it might just be the paint job, to be fair, but I don't know.
I'm keep looking at this Scarlet Spider. I mean, it might just be Scarlet Spider's like it's my favorite Spider-Man variant. Like my favorite Spider-Man's costume is the Scarlet Spider one. There's just a complete red and then the blue hoodie. Like it's always been one of my favorite between him and Spider-Man 2099. Like, and that's more just because it's like the cool futuristic like cyber costume. But yeah, I really like that. Definitely going to be picking that one up. That's super cool.
Nice.
Anyway, so we have gushed about Star Wars, and
it's we a long
have
one, this one.
Spoken briefly about Marvel Crisis Protocol at the end there as well. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is a very long episode. Which was very, very long. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, obviously leave a like and a comment. Thank you very much for listening. We do appreciate it. And I think we're getting back into the flow of doing these. I'm enjoying it. It's nice having a catch up and a chat and then throwing our thoughts out into the ether.
Yeah, because we can't really always put these thoughts into videos too well, because the videos need to have a point and a direction, and we can't waffle like we do here. So it's nice to be able to express more of our views in a way which is probably more realistic rather than a tailored version, which you'll see on our YouTube videos. So I think that's the way I interpret it anyway.
That's basically why I like doing it, because it's a chance for us to talk at length, just essentially as two people that enjoy painting miniatures.
Yeah, we're nerds.
And we don't have to have a specific point or a tutorial or an aim that we've got to try and cram into 10 minutes.
No.
We can just waffle on and have a laugh. And this is very much just our very casual thing that we do to enjoy. But an hour and a half is a very long episode. So if you've stuck all the way till the end, well done.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats.
Have a cookie.
Elston, where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
You can find me at Elston Nation on YouTube, Elston Nation on Instagram, Elston Nation Minis on Facebook, and mainly somewhere on a Discord somewhere. I don't have my own. It's something I'm thinking about one day. Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of Discords out there right now, so I might be just adding my saturation to the saturation, but we'll see. I've also was considering Patreon the other day, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh, should I start up a Patreon? And I think I might.
Get it done, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have great tier names. I think the first one is "Are you lost?" The second one is "Are you sure you're in the right place?" And all of them are just going to be like questions that are questioning people's morality. So yeah, it'll be fun.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's cool. And as you can find me over on my YouTube channel, The Pickle Jar. I live stream over on our second channel as well. Trying to keep up with doing those. Last week I did not do one because I was absolutely shattered after climbing and being at work. But I'm trying to keep up with those and do those more regularly. You can also find me over on my Discord. If you want to get hold of me, make sure to tag me. I am trying to be more active in there, but again, work is busy. And obviously over on Twitter and Instagram. Well, it's not Twitter anymore, is it? It's X. What a stupid fucking name. And there we go. That's our one swear for this week.
I swear I've sworn at some point already, but anyway,
it usually is you. To be fair, I'm usually quite
fucking
good.
X.
So there you go, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, leave a like, leave a review, leave a comment, and share us with your nerd friends that might enjoy listening to two people from England waffle on about why they like plastic soldiers.
Yeah, and geeky stuff, and try to validate their existence. Yeah.
Anyway, we're done.
Toodaloo. Indeed, we gotta go. Everyone, goodbye, hello, and goodbye again.
Yep.
Yep.
This is the end.
Are we ending just as good as we started? Like, goodbye.
Yep. That's about it.
How are we supposed to end things? Is there a formula? Maybe we should Google this.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could Google how to end a podcast.
And then we're gonna Google. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we should hit the stop button.
How to end? I've misspelt podcast. I didn't put the O in it. An easy way to wrap up your podcast is by giving your listeners a quick recap of the episode. We've done that.
We've done that.
Use this time to talk about the main points you made throughout the episode, what you want your listeners to take away from the episode, and what made that episode so special.
I'm not sure if it was special.
I don't think we made it special.
I'm not sure if it was special. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
Wish I was special.
Did you find it special? Did you find us special?
'Cause I'm a creep.
I know that.
I'm a weirdo.
You're definitely a weirdo.
What the hell am I doing here?
Because I said we should do a podcast tonight.
I don't belong here.
No, you definitely don't. You should probably go back into your hole.